Recently, the makers of the game sent mail to pretty much everyone, a system mail regarding new iconic update, which is massive. But then after a short while, they retracted it. But I don't believe the reason why they did it was not the response from the community or anything. It was because of the typos, because it got retracted pretty fast. And because of that, I believe this update is 100% coming into the game. So today we are going to take a look at that mail and see if those changes are really going to affect free-to-play and low spenders. And are we doomed or not? Let's go. Greetings, Governor. After talking with governors, about iconic equipment, blah blah blah, whatever, our new plan is as follows. After the next update, with the exception of gathering equipment and the Trial of the Lost Kingdom weapon, which can only be purchased from the VIP with real money, all legendary quality equipment can still be made iconic, okay? Iconic equipment, this is now new, will be divided into 5 upgradable tiers. All current iconic equipment in the game will be iconic tier 1. So simply, we are going to have new tiers to our iconic equipment, our equipment that is already iconic. The items required to update a piece of equipment to the next iconic tier will depend on its type and which tier it is being upgraded to. Upgrading to iconic 1 will mainly cost crystals, while subsequent tiers will mainly cost equipment blueprints and equipment materials. So it is quite similar to just refining your equipment for a special talent. However, maybe not every single iconic tier is going to require a blueprint. For example, from tier 1 to tier 2 or from tier 2 to tier 3, maybe you only need to spend materials, but from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5, you will need, of course, a lot more materials, and also on top of that, you're going to need blueprint. We will see. Different equipment will gain different attribute bonuses after being made iconic. Tap the link at the end of this message to preview the iconic bonuses for the Dragon's Breath Bow, Sturdy Boots of the Eternal Empire, and Sacred Dominion weapon. Since this mail is retracted, we don't have the link, however we do luckily have screenshots, and it is thanks to a massive Discord community. Asperians, shout out to them, and I will have the Discord link in the description. After a piece of equipment is upgraded to the next iconic tier, it will inherit its previous refinement level and special talent. It will also gain a bonus to its attributes. So if you already have, let's say you have an iconic weapon with a special talent, and when you upgrade the iconic level, it's going to keep that special talent, and or if it's, let's say, refined to 75%, it will still be at 75%. So iconic and refinement, like special talent, is completely independent. It doesn't affect each other. Equipment set effects will not be affected when upgrading one of the... Imagine with the iconic tier, the bonuses you get having sets is, I don't know, maybe in future they might actually do that. Oh my, that would be insane. Your kingdom must be in season 1 or later to access the iconic equipment system. Okay, so you don't get it from the get-go when you just start the game, which is good. Now, these are the iconic bonuses. I think this was the reason, like this link was the reason why the mail got retracted, because, for example, if we take a look at, let's start from the middle, Sturdy Boots of the Eternal Empire. It is an infantry item, right? But the bonuses, it says archer unit base health, archer unit attack, blah blah blah. So that was the reason why it got retracted. That's what I believe. I have no information, but the system is coming, guys. The system is coming. So basically, if you keep looking at Sturdy Boots of the Eternal Empire, iconic effect tier 1 is our regular iconic. That's going to be infantry, as I said, in my opinion. Infantry unit base health +3 or 4 if you have a special talent. Infantry unit attack, this is iconic number 2, like tier 2. And then you have unit capacity. And by the way, tier 3s seems like it's the same for any equipment in the game. Maybe it could be different for accessories, I don't know. But it looks like everything is going to give you extra unit capacity. And since, by the way, Sacred Dominion is a KVK item, let me move myself like this so I can show this, yeah. Since it's a KVK item, if you compare Sturdy Boots to Sacred Dominion, instead of 300, we have 1000. And if we compare two weapons, which is Sacred Dominion and Dragon's Breath Bow, it is 800 to 1000. The reason is it is a KVK weapon, and the other one, Dragon's Breath Bow, is a regular weapon. And that's why the boots are actually different. And if your Sacred Dominion, for example, is special talented, instead of 1000 extra units, you're going to have 1.3k. Back to Sturdy Boots. Tier 4, it is good for infantry march speed, and Tier 5, infantry unit march speed 5 or 6.5% if you have a special talent, while outside of the alliance territory, which is most of the time in KvK. And then we have again infantry unit attack 1 or 1.5%. When I look at it, these are actually decent bonuses, but it doesn't look like they're game breaking right now, because I will get to the comparison of having higher tier iconic versus having a special talent, and you will understand why. Of course, they are super good. Like, it's going to be the new thing on top of the armament system to min-max your marches, your account, to upgrade it to highest level possible. Is it really something that free-to-play and low spenders are interested? I don't know, we were going to discuss it. Now let's move to Dragon's Breath Bow. I think this one and the Sacred Dominion one is actually much better. So iconic 1 is our regular iconic, it's just base attack. Iconic 2, ignore a certain percentage of an enemy troop's defense, which is, I think, much better than attack. Tier 3 again, unit capacity. Tier 4, straight up extra damage to the troops on the map. And Tier 5, 10% chance to gain 5% damage boost for 2 seconds when launching a basic attack, cooldown 5 seconds. Honestly, maybe that could also be the reason why they retracted the email, because when I look at this one, for example, Tier 4 of Dragon's Breath Bow compared to Tier 5, or Tier 4 of Sacred Dominion compared to Tier 5, I'll probably take the Tier 4 every single day. Like, just flat more damage is, in my opinion, is better than anything with a chance, like with cooldown and like has conditions. So maybe they are going to swap them and re-release the notes again, but we will see. You can read all of this, but what I wanted to discuss is the actual impact this will have in the game. In my opinion, and I could be like 100% wrong, the only time as free-to-players and low spenders you are going to look at upgrading your iconics, like the level of the iconic, is when you happen to have a special talent. Because in my opinion, even mid-spenders, unless they rally or garrison, should try to refine their legendary equipment. Instead, they should first have a really great set for all of their marches, and then only after then, they can start looking at refining the equipment for special talents. I don't know if I will be spending materials and blueprints, which is exactly what's needed. We don't know how many, of course, but on paper, which is exactly what's needed to refine my equipment, my legendary equipment. And I don't think I will be looking at upgrading the iconic before having a special talent on my legendaries. And since I am not even refining my legendaries, the only time I will be looking at iconic upgrades is if randomly I somehow get a special talent on a legendary. For example, I have a special talent on my Ash of the Dawn. I didn't refine it. I just randomly, I got lucky and got a special talent. And that will be the only time that I can look into upgrading the level of its iconic and see if it's worth it or not. Do I think it's a good update for free-to-play low spender? Of course not. I mean, the iconic update in the first place was really, really harsh for free-to-play and low spenders. And when I said it on a video, many people were like, yo, it's so easy to get iconics. What are you talking about? Like, the problem wasn't getting your legendaries to iconic. Yes, it was easy to get crystals. It wasn't even special talents, right? Because iconics give more boost to special talent. It wasn't even that. The reason why it was so harsh for free-to-play and low spenders is because it increased the gap pretty significantly between any epic equipment versus a legendary one. If somehow I was able to show you the number of people, let's say, using Heart of the Saint special talented before the iconic update versus after the iconic update, it is insane. Like, for example, I never thought I would ever craft an Eternal Knight because Karak's humility with a special talent was insane. But now, since we have the iconic update, look at that, I did craft an Eternal Knight. Thankfully, I got lucky and got a special talent, and I did put an iconic, but like, this wouldn't ever cross my mind, you know, crafting an Eternal Knight. The iconic update itself pushed many players, even free-to-players and low spenders, into crafting legendaries because the gap, the power gap between the legendaries and epics and blues increased drastically. And now it's just getting bigger. So anyone who are still trying to, you know, handle things with, let's say, a Heart of the Saint or even Gatekeeper Shield, Darkslord Blessing, like, these are insane value for money items. There were, at least, in Rise of Kingdoms, but now instead we have to go for legendaries just because of the iconic, and now we have extra boost to that iconic. So I don't know, like, it is going to, yes, increase the gap. Do I think it's like it is worse than having the iconic in the first place? No, I think having the iconic in the first place was really bad. But now, I think the only people who are looking forward to this update is just very high spenders who does have, a lot of special talented equipment, so they can just basically min-max their every single equipment piece. But us, when it comes to low spenders, mid spenders, free-to-plays or whatever, what we're going to do is, if somehow we got a special talent, we got lucky, without refining anything, any legendaries, then yes, of course, we are going to start looking into iconic upgrade, upgrading the iconic level of the equipment that we already have with a special talent and iconic boost. But other than that, working on your iconic boost without a special talent, I don't think that's going to be best thing to do. And since we don't have many equipment pieces with special talents, I don't think we're going to get bothered with this update much, because basically it's not our cup of tea. That's not for us. And the funny thing is, people who are really into these high spending updates or min-maxing updates are rally and garrison leaders. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to min-max their equipment mainly for field fighting, and that could be something that pushes high spenders away from this anyways. So I don't know. I think it's not a great update, of course. I think it's going to still increase the gap between like free-to-play low spenders versus high spenders. However, I don't think it's that game breaking. I could be totally wrong, but having the iconic in the first place was the thing that we were supposed to outrage. I don't think it's this one, because this still requires blueprints, and if you have the luxury of wasting all those blueprints and equipments to make an equipment piece slightly better, I think I would definitely try to get a special talent instead of this. And once I get the special talent, and then I can look into upgrading the iconic level. But for us, I don't know, it's going to take ages, so it just didn't bother me much. Are we doomed? I don't think so, but we could be. We will see. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.